It's my pleasure to introduce you director of the first film Ich bin eine Terroristin, Valerie Guadissart, and author of the music from this film, Morton Potash, from France. May I ask you about the title of the film, because it's in German and your film is French, mainly?
Well, it's a film about languages and how people can communicate without the same language. So, and it's a film about borders too, and about the floating borders and the real borders and the dream borders. So it's not very important, the language, because there is something universal between people. And this title was given to me by the Wall of Berlin. It was not the original title, it was another one. But when I went to Berlin to shoot the film, I realized that it was the title, the good one. Mm-hmm. And so it's written on a piece of the wall of Berlin, and it's like a slogan.
No slogan.
It's like a slogan. Mm-hmm.
The girl in the film is very sensitive, and she has problem with the mother, and she's looking for personalities or for something what can give her the feelings which she missed with mother. And I want to ask you if it's also your experience.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. With my own mother, you mean? Yeah, we didn't have a lot of communication. I don't understand her very much. But, you know, it's life. It's not too... I'm not sad about that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but it's true.
How was your childhood? And if you liked fairy tales, and which fairy tales?
Well, I had a childhood very pleasant. I lived very much in two worlds, in my mind and in the real world, and like a teenager and like an adult. I have the same fonctionnement. The same way to live and to be. And about the fairy tales, it's not really a fairy tale, but it's a tale, Pinocchio. And I think often about Pinocchio, who is a little boy, with the story of a little boy who is becoming human, and who can reborn. At each chapter, you think that he will be dead, but he reborn.
From small child.
Yeah.
Thank you. Morton, may I ask you, it was simple or maybe simple to do the music to this film? How it was?
Well, we came up with the idea to make the music have a special role in this film. It doesn't really accompany the emotions of the film like in most film music. It tries to be the inner voice and to explain what's going on in the child, Violet's, mind. So the words of songs are very important to show what she's actually thinking and feeling. And so actually, Valerie wrote a long poem, sort of poem of inner thoughts of Violet's, which we put to music before the film was done. And this turned out to be a song which was about 12 minutes long. And this song, we sang parts of it, the whole production company, during the shooting. But it's not at all in the film, actually. And so it was, the music was done in two parts. One was like the pre-version of the film, and that was this long poem which explained really as though it were the whole film. And of course it wasn't necessary to use that as the music because you have the film to see, so you don't need music and words which are telling what the film is telling. So then we did a second version of the music once the film was shot to explain in different moments exactly what the girl is thinking.
May I ask you also for your beloved fairy tale from your childhood?
Well, I'm really, from the earliest age, really a fan of mythology of all kinds. And my favorite as a child was Norse mythology, with Odin and Thor and Frida. I also liked very much mythologies from every country. The Greek mythology, of course, is the one which is the most easily available to us as children, but also the Grimm fairy tales and American Indian fairy tales, which I had access to as an American child.
Thank you. And maybe last question about how theme you will choose, or are you already chosen for your next film?
Well, I have two other projects. In fact, I always work from a feeling. By example, I made several short films. In one of them, I work about le dépit. Le dépit.
Sorrow.
Sorrow? The feeling of sorrow. In another film, it was the feeling of secret, to keep something inside, secret. And so in the next film, I want to work about the disappointment. It's a universal feeling. And so I'm writing a story about a real island, which is in the Pacific, and it's called the Island of Disappointment. So I tried to write something fantasy and something real about this feeling. So it's a travel too, because I always write a story with travel. People must move and leave something. And I have another one. It's called You Hide St. Petersburg in Your Bag. And it's about his family from Russia. You know, who has left Russia in the early 20th century to go to America. His mother was born in St. Petersburg in Russia, and she's dead in St. Petersburg in Florida. So I think it's a very interesting beginning to write something. And then we discovered that it's not the reality, in fact, it's only the legend of the family, because she was Moldav from Kishinev. So I want to write a story of a travel of a family of today who is traveling along the Moldavia, Belarusia, Ukraine, Lithuania, and then go to Florida and to look for some roots of the old family.